Are you always down on yourself? Do you doubt yourself? Are you full of misery? Well, you come to the right channel. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 habits that make you miserable. So let's dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, welcome to Be Better, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We always want to hear from you. So this video, we want to talk about 5 habits that make you miserable. There's always something within ourselves that puts us down. We always have these negative emotions going on. So we want to discuss these things so you can neutralize them and begin a better push. So the first habit that can make you miserable is the lack of sleep. The lack of sleep is very detrimental to your health, your well-being, and your focus. Back in my day, back around high school, 2017, 2018, finally getting out the house, finally going to school, working, and so forth. I didn't develop a routine with my sleeping pattern. Ultimately, this threw me off because sometimes I'll wake up between 9 p.m. I'll go to sleep around 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., wake up around like 6 a.m., maybe all the way to 12 a.m. That's noon where I sleep. So this is very important to recognize because when you're not sleeping, when you're not focusing on closing your eyes, sleep meditation, and so forth, you begin to build bad habits. And as you keep progressing with these bad habits, your sleep is ultimately going to decline, your performance is going to decline. And this is another step to become miserable because you're always drowsy, you're always coming to work or going to school, or just in general, your health is deteriorating. So that's habit number 1. Habit number 2 is the lack of action. Previously, in our last video, we talked about how to waste your life and to be miserable. The lack of action is extremely important when you want a miserable life. People who do not take action typically try to make some excuse. They try to find some coping mechanism to not take action. With me, this was, like I said in the last video, 2018, going to school, working, but I wasn't putting any further effort into my goals or my dreams. And when you feel like, especially from my experience, it's not right, it doesn't feel good. You're always thinking about the future, but you're not within the present. And this is highly important to recognize, y'all. You gotta keep pushing, you gotta keep striving to be better. And doing that is just getting up, taking some deep breaths and saying, hey, I wanna do it. That's habit number 2. Habit number 3 is always seeking validation. This is, oh my gosh, y'all. Please don't do this. I was at that point one day. We all do this, I think, when we're young. We're trying to build a new relationship with somebody. We're always trying to get the next job. We're always trying to strive to, take that monetary or materialistic gain from somebody. But you do not want to do that because seeking validation or being that people pleaser, people don't give a fuck about you, unfortunately. That's the cruel thing about the world, and that's why I built this platform. So hopefully we have people who can resort to this kind of thing and say, hey, B cares about people. He wants people to be better, hence be better. So do not seek validation, because seeking validation puts you at a higher expectation for people to help you, which people, they're always going to consider their best interest before yours. So always keep that in mind. Habit number 4 is no effort to improve. How are you going to not be miserable if you're not going to improve yourself? So actually, this is a good thing. I want to talk about this. So I was reading this article stating that a lot of like highly successful people, they don't get to the top with no struggle. There has to be some struggle in order to improve. And coming from my perspective, I can agree with this. Like, I learned 2 different languages within 3 years. not fluent. I'm around like elementary proficiency with these 2 languages, but every time I do it, it's a challenge. Yet it's a challenge, but it's still fulfilling because, I'm like learning something. I'm always striving to be better within myself. That's the most important thing to see with that. When you don't put in the effort within your goals or with anything, you remain stagnant with it. And I feel like that's going to ultimately just keep you buried in the abyss. So like, you gotta go out, you gotta climb out that abyss, you gotta try something that's gonna help you. Because I've been there before, y'all. Not putting in the effort to improve. That was honestly back in high school, after freshman year, I just kind of said, hey, I'm just gonna just remain at this level. I'm not gonna try anything. And it's ultimately until I got my senior year, that's when I kind of started realizing a little bit hey, I should put a little effort into things, but then I just went back down into that same routine, that same mindset. So always be a life learner, always be a go-getter. Regardless if you're taking big steps, baby steps, do something, because that's what's gonna help you break out of your plane. Habit number 5, not seeking or not being in the right support groups. Man, when I tell you this, man, freaking back in 2019, I was surrounded with the wrong people, y'all. Freaking, I'm not a drinker. I was brought up like this, but then when I hung out with these people, I started, indulging within the drinking, partying, doing so forth, and everybody's different, but this is coming from my experience because I'm not a partier, I'm not a drinker. I'd rather just go to a coffee shop. This is things that I learned from myself as I aged. I'm just going to a coffee shop, just chill, writing some notes, socializing with people. That's my way of disconnecting from, it's weird, disconnecting from the harsh reality of society and just talking to people. Having a wrong support group around you only drains you, and actually I feel like it takes away, you're no longer yourself. I feel like you can't be who you are with the wrong people surrounding you. And it can make you, deep down, it starts burning you out. And as you burn out, you become miserable. So that's very important to recognize whenever you're selecting your friendships and building these relationships. Always look for the people who are like-minded. Don't get me wrong, finding other people who aren't like you is a good thing too, but as far as your mental health, make sure you mainly focus on people who have the same mindset to you, so you can, so you won't have to bury yourself into a deeper hole whenever you're struggling with mental health or anything. So, hey, that's 5 habits to make you miserable. Hey, like I said before, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like our videos, comment, and hey, we're gonna get better, ladies and gents.